Hello, welcome to Deep Hip Openers for Stress Relief and Release. My name is Tom McLaughlin. I'm here at Native Yoga Center in Juno Beach, Florida. Go ahead and set your yoga mat in place. To begin, nice and easy. Start off in a child's pose. Bend your knees, come down on your hands, your knees. Bring your hips towards your heels and relax your forehead down. Breathe through your nose, create a steady rhythm. And now come up onto your hands and knees. And let's begin first with a lunge. Take your right leg forward so that you're on your left knee and right foot. And bring your right foot far enough forward that when you lunge, your heel doesn't come off the floor. So try to bring your foot so it's underneath your right knee. And then lunge into the bend of your right knee. And we're going to start off first with the right hip in flexion, the left hip in extension. And here on the left side, we're going to target stretching the psoas, the quadriceps, and the psoas muscle. And on the right, the hamstring stretch, as well as the glutes, the gluteus max, glute max. So as you lunge forward, allow for the pressure to go down into the hips and attempt to track in a relatively even line, in the sense that if you align your left foot so it's directly behind your left knee, and you align your right heel so it's under your right knee in line with your right hip, so that the hips are relatively square to the side that you're facing. And remember, just go slow and steady. We're going to go deep today on the hips, so we just want to start off nice and easy and just let it warm up. So now we're going to go ahead and change sides. So I'm just going to turn sides so I'll be able to keep the front of my body towards you. But you can just either bring one leg forward or take one leg back and the other leg forward, or simply turn. All right, so let's go on the other side, the left side. So now you have your left foot forward and your right foot behind you. As you lean body weight onto your hands, if you need, put blocks underneath your hands to be able to keep some pressure on your arms. And as you lunge forward, feel the pressure going into the hips, and you'll feel it on the right leg, on the front right leg, into the quadriceps and the psoas, as well as stretching your left side, which the hip is in flexion. So we're working the hamstrings and the glute muscles. And so as you come into the stretch here, just align your body so you're relatively square to the side of the mat that you're facing. And remember to breathe in and out through the nose. We're also just starting off real slow and steady here so we can go deep on the hips, go deep into the hip opening. So there's no hurry. We just want to kind of just gradually, we're going to keep applying pressure in all these different angles. All right, so next up, let's try one that's called lizard pose. So what we'll do is basically you're on your hands and knees. So I'm going to face you first. So notice that my right foot is angled forward. This would be straight ahead. So this is like a 45-degree angle. And you put your hands on the floor on the inside edge, and we lunge into the hip stretch. But now we're allowing for a little bit of external rotation in the hip joint. So just pay close attention to the sensation that you can feel in the hip socket. Apply, again, moderate pressure. And if it's too much, obviously you just don't lean as far forward. The depth that you lean forward into will be the defining characteristic that's going to open up the pressure into the right hip. So again, just remember, breathe. One of the main things that we try to do in yoga asana should be stable and comfortable. So if you are in excruciating discomfort or pain, then you're going too far. So what we need to do is establish a level of pressure that you are able to breathe in and keep a nice steady rhythm. So now we're going to change sides. So just take the pressure off, lean back, take your right leg back, bring your left leg forward, angle your left foot at a 45-degree angle, lean into the lunge forward, and we're going to apply a similar amount of pressure for a similar amount of time over here on the left side. There's multiple things you can do to go deeper with it, like you can come down onto your elbows. But in the beginning here, I'll just kind of keep it relatively moderate so I can play to the middle of the field. And as you're holding, feel the pressure on the left hip and that external rotation in the left hip joint. Allow for the kind of forward momentum and down pressure to help to release the tension that you might feel in your hip. The hips can hold a lot of tension, and so the process of working into hip opening can release tension from the whole body, and it can also be a good stress reliever. So I think what you'll notice, we'll try to notice and see how we feel when we're finished, but quite often this type of hip work can have a profound effect. Go ahead and release the pressure, take the pressure off your left leg. Now let's try a pose called Malasana. So Malasana is where we come down into this shape here. Now, this is not always easy for everyone. So what you can do is come into a standing position where you put your elbows onto your knees and just see how low you can go. If you're able to get your hands onto the floor, you might be able to have your heels lift up. And then if you can drop down into the stretch of the hips and have your Achilles tendon come down and practice balancing with your arms on the inside edges of your knees, you can bring your hands like and draw them in toward the center of your chest. At the same time, we can go from spinal flexion, where here I'm in a state of flexion, to spinal extension, where you push your arms, press your arms into your thighs, and try to lift your chest up to the level that you're able. And we're holding pressure. This one really is like a double-legged lizard because we just did one leg at a time where we had one leg forward like this. So now we have both of the legs and we have even pressure, body weight straight down the center. And holding here is really critical. This is one pose I recommend doing every single day. It's great for getting the knees to bend. And if the knees feel stiff and cranky, this is a really good way to help to release some of that tension. And as well, the hips, this is a great way to release tension and stress from the hips. All right, let's go for another one. Let's focus on primarily the hamstrings. So we're going to go into a Paschimottanasana. So come into a seated position and stretch your legs out in front of you. So now we're going to work on the back of the legs, the hamstrings, to release tension from the hips. So test out and see how far forward you're able to catch a hold of your feet. What you can do is hold on to your shins. You can use a strap. Focus first on keeping your spine upright and leaning forward to affect the angle of motion at your pelvis. This is called anterior tilt when you go forward. And the hamstring muscles attach right onto the ischial tuberosity at the base of the hip. So if you catch a hold of your feet and fold your body forward, you're pulling your hips more forward, which is having a direct effect onto the hamstring muscles. Remember, there's no need to try to copy the level of depth that I'm doing. You might naturally fold forward deeply, but some of us, it's going to be really tight. A couple of things we could do if we need, we could or can bend our knees and try holding the toes with the knees bent, and then just very gradually sliding the heels forward more and more to work the hamstrings this way. And then you can also, if you straighten your legs, it might press your body back a little bit, but you can use your hands on the floor behind you to give you a little bit of leverage. And or if you are able to catch a hold of your feet or your ankles, you can, or shins, you can work pulling the body deeper forward through this motion here. And just focus on breathing and relax attention from the back of your legs, the back of your hips, into your lower back. You'll feel it all the way along the spinal column, very likely. If you drop your head forward and down, you can feel how the stretch goes all the way from your lower back, middle back, and upper back as you bring your head down a little bit closer towards your knees. Continue to breathe through the nose. The mouth remains closed. Create and maintain a nice steady breathing rhythm. Good. Next up, we're going to go for a bound angle. So if you bring the soles of your feet together, draw your heels in close towards your body, grab a hold of your feet, and now lean the body forward and lean your elbow pressure down onto your inner thighs. A lot of times I'll see students with their elbows forward of their shins. And so what we want to do is actually try to get the elbows down against the inside thigh so that as you lean forward, you can use the leverage and your body weight to your advantage. So as you lean forward, push or press gently. Now, it is very important to pay close attention to the knees. If you have challenges here, don't push so hard. Again, we don't want to make it super painful. Asana should or needs to be stable and comfortable. If you do have the ability to drop your head all the way down to the floor while you're pressing your knees down, wonderful. more there's a really good chance your knees are up in the air. One thing we do try to do is if one knee goes much lower than the other side, and that can be due to a whole host of different reasons. So what you can do though is actually lift the easier side to the level even with the tight side, lean in a little more on the tight side, and then allow the right side to match evenly with the tighter side. So in other words, if I'm like this, I'm going to try to lean over and bring this leg down even with the other side. So this is a good strategy to employ, and just a nice deep press into your hips here, and slowly back off and release. And now we'll go into one that's called preparation for the one leg king pigeon pose, known as Ekapada Raja Kapotasana. So what we're going to do is come around onto our hands and our knees and bring your right leg knee forward. So first, just see if you have the ability to take your right knee forward towards your hand. Now, what we do is we just rotate the right knee so the right foot comes a little forward toward our left hand. So another way to enter in is to come from the down dog and to bring your right shin forward. Touch your left knee on the ground and now try to slide or ratchet your left leg back and see how much pressure you can apply in on the hip in the external rotation. So now we're accessing, stretching a group of 6 muscles that are located here that are deep, that cross from the sacrum, which is the triangular bone at the base of your hip, or at your hips, at the bottom of your low back or of your spine. And they come across over and onto the trochanter of your femur. So one of these muscles, called the piriformis muscle, actually crosses the sacroiliac joint. 2 muscles cross the sacroiliac joint: the piriformis, which is a smaller thin muscle here, and the glute max, which is the larger superficial muscle that is known as your glute, or your main glute. So here we're just basically putting a little bit of stretching energy into these tissues here. If you have SI pain, if you know what I'm talking about, sacroiliac pain, do this one gently. So you don't need to push too hard or strong in this one. Just do a very simple. Notice I've taken the pressure off quite a bit, and I'm keeping my body up, and I'm using my arms to support the body weight. And if you have the ability to slide it all the way back and apply that pressure and lean in, and your SI joints feel great, then I would say go for it. And then we're going to go ahead and do the other side. So what you can do is push down and take your right leg back. From your hand knee position for the left side, remember you can just take your left knee forward, give it a little swivel, take your right leg back, and attempt to land on the mat where your right leg is back. You're relaxing on top of an angle. What increases the intensity in this pose is the more you bring your left shin bone parallel to the top of the mat, and then you lean pressure in, that's going to go super deep on the external rotation stretch. If you're new to this pose, don't close this angle a little bit so you're more like 45-ish, and then lean pressure in here. Now, you do need to pay close attention to your knees. This one does have a little bit of rotation in the knee, so if it's too much, you can lay on your back and do the thread the needle pose, which we'll do together here in a moment. But I just wanted to put the emphasis here on the deep hip opening aspect. So left side, we're stretching all of the deep 6 lateral rotator muscles. We can focus specifically on piriformis. The sciatic nerve travels right either above, below, or actually through the piriformis. It's different for every person. So with sciatic pain, what is important to note is that this pose will make one sciatic sufferer feel really good, and this pose can make someone with sciatica actually feel worse. So you have to listen to your body and find a level of pressure that works, and then the effect you feel after your practice will give you a lot of feedback to know how to proceed as you move further or forward. Okay, go ahead and take the pressure off here. We're going to go ahead and release, and we're going to come around into a wide foot stretching pose where you bring your legs into what's called Upavishta Konasana. So now let your legs separate, and we're going to lean forward so that we just focused on stretching the lateral edge of the hip. Now we're going to focus on stretching the adductors, the inside thigh, as well as the inner strand of the hamstrings, semitendinosus and semimembranosus muscles. So as you come forward, just lean pressure into the back of the legs and inner thighs. Some of us might need to actually lean back on the hands to be able to get the legs straight, because once we get the knees to go down, it kind of pushes us back due to that tension here. So what we're attempting to do is over time, let gravity work to our advantage and lean the body weight forward and apply pressure right into the base of the hips and into the inside thighs. Maintain holding, breathe, inhale and exhale. And this way we've accessed or worked on flexion, extension, abduction, external rotation. We've done multiple external rotation exercises. On that note, we'll put a little more emphasis on internal rotation here in a second, so that this way we are covering all the different angles of rotation and motion that the hips can do, working deep into the hip stretch. Very good. All right, go ahead and release this pressure. Let's add one more. Let me have you go ahead and lie down onto your back. And we're going to work with a supine twist pose. So if you lie down on your back and you take your right leg and you cross it on top of your left leg so that the thigh bones come close together, relax your arms wherever they're comfortable and lean your knees over to the right so that the weight of the right leg is bearing pressure down onto the outside edge of your hip. Here we're creating an internal rotation to help balance all the external rotation work that we did. Continue breathing. On the outside edge of your left hip, you have a muscle on the side of the hip called the TFL, the tensor fascia lata muscle. And that's the muscle that connects to what's called the IT band, or the iliotibial band. The IT band is ligamentous or tendinous, and the TFL is the actual muscle that's stretching. So we're not actually lengthening the IT band, but we are stretching the muscle that it's attached to. So it can help to release lateral hip pain and give a nice deep stretch here. Let's switch sides. Go ahead and bring your knees up. Take your right leg off, cross your left leg over your right leg, and lean your knees over to the left. So now the left leg is applying pressure to the outside edge of your right hip, and you can feel that pull stretching sensation over here on the right side TFL. Continue to breathe. Remember, if any of the positions that I'm recommending you to try here doesn't feel great, you just got to modify it. Just don't push so hard. Like in this one, you could just keep your knees up vertical and just do a very simple leaning exercise. If you can lean the pressure in, just try to get a nice deep stretch along the lateral edge of your hip. Good. And release and bring your knees back up, and you're ready to go for a final Shavasana relaxation position. Just allow your arms and legs to relax completely. And this concludes our deep hip stretching session. And let me know how you go in the comments below. And remember to hit the subscribe. We really appreciate it. It helps our channel to grow. If you have any queries, there's lots of links in the description you can check out. And I love answering questions, so you can send them my way. My email is info@nativeyogacenter.com. All right. I hope you have a wonderful day and enjoy a little more freedom and range of motion in your hips as you move throughout the rest of your day. Remember, you can work with this video anytime you like. Have a good one. Namaste.